everyone. This is Margaret Manning with 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. My guest tonight is Nancy Perraud. Nancy's a travel expert, and she writes articles for About.com on senior and boomer travel. So it's great to have you here, Nancy.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Nancy, I have some questions for you. We have so many interests in travel as we get, a little older into our retirement, in quotes. And one thing that a lot of women like to do is take a cruise. Mm-hmm. I actually took one and I loved it. I mean, I was a solo traveler, and it was kind of funny because, it was just, I didn't think a cruise was quite for a solo traveler, but I had a great time. And I should have read your article first. Because you've written a great article here about the 10 things that you should think about, tips, when planning a cruise. So we start with read the fine print. I didn't do that, but it was okay. Tell us more about these 10 points.
Well, this is really important because when you book a cruise, you are signing a contract. So it's up to you to know what the contract includes and what it doesn't include. So that, for example, if you find that you might need medical care, you know that you have to bring your own travel insurance with you or have your own medical insurance apply if you need medical care on board the ship or when you're at a port. All of those things are detailed in your cruise contract. So it's up to you to spend the time and read it in detail before you spend any money, so that you understand exactly what your cruise line will and will not provide for you. And generally you have a great experience, but understanding the nuts and bolts of the whole contract is key.
Okay, I know we always get frightened by small print, but I think in this case, you're right. We should get the magnifying glass out and read it. Okay, should we buy travel insurance?
Yeah, normally I say yes, particularly for our friends in the United States who are on Medicare. Medicare covers zero medical expenses outside the United States, so I always advise anyone traveling outside the U.S. whose only health insurance is Medicare, you must buy travel medical insurance, because otherwise, if something happens and you get sick or you break your leg, you are out of pocket for all that cost. There is no appeal to that. If you live somewhere else, for example, in the UK where you have national health, it depends a little bit on your destination. Many countries have reciprocity agreements with EU health programs. Australia also has reciprocity. So you need to look at your individual circumstance. The other kind of insurance I definitely advise looking at least is trip cancellation insurance, because most of your cruise cost is going to be non-refundable, and you have to pay it far enough ahead so that if a disaster occurs in your personal life or at the cruise port and the cruise is canceled or something along those lines, that your travel investment basically is protected and you can get all or some of that money back.
Okay, so travel insurance in most cases is recommended. Okay, what about carry-on bags?
Your carry-on bag is a little different than your airline carry-on bag, because when you board the ship, your luggage is going to follow behind you and come to your stateroom probably several hours after you embark. So in your carry-on bag, you might want to put a few items that you will need to have a great few hours while you're waiting for your suitcases to be deposited at your stateroom door. So if you want to use the pool, maybe put your swimsuit in your bag, and so your flip-flops in your bag, or your book in your carry-on bag. Certainly if you take any prescription medications that have a mandatory time at which you must take them, those need to go in your carry-on bag, because otherwise you won't have them when that time arrives, and you will not be happy when that happens.
Yeah, that's actually on a plane, it's applicable as well, but I think even more so because you really are, like you say, waiting 8 hours or longer. These ships have 4,000 or 5,000 people on them sometimes, so really pack your carry-on with the important things. Okay, what else have we got to think about?
Well, packing is an all-important cruise topic, especially if you're going on a cruise where you have different kinds of dinner options. You might have casual options or formal options. And people get tempted to pack a different outfit, a whole set of everything for every night. And then, of course, you want your sightseeing clothes for the daytime and your walking shoes and so on. Lay everything out on your bed, take a look at it, look and see what you can mix and match, because honestly at dinner time you're sitting down most of the time. Most people won't remember if you wear the same pair of pants or the same long skirt 2 or 3 times. And if you pick some neutral colors for the bottom part of your outfit, navy blue is really popular this year for some reason, and of course black always works, and then swap out tops, sweaters, fun jewelry, scarves, that type of thing. People will remember what's right up near your face, and they won't take any notice of the fact that you wore those black trousers 2 nights ago. They will not remember. So you can lighten up
Yeah.
your suitcase and save money for the things that maybe you might buy at port calls or something along those lines.
Well, I think that one thing that you mentioned, and I would want to reinforce, is to take comfortable shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly,
Absolutely.
that doesn't matter what people think of your shoes because you're the one that's going to be walking in them, and you can think about all the fun things to wear on the ship, like on the
Hmm.
boat. But when you get off at port and you're walking around on cobblestones and other
Yes.
uneven surfaces,
Hmm.
so packing with just with care for your lifestyle and your needs is important.
Hmm.
So okay, what else have we got? We got pretty basic things. Oh, tell us about the rules, not rules, but the guidance about getting to the boat
Well,
early or not.
ships sail on time, and if you are not on board, that is too bad for you. So you really need to plan your pre-cruise travel carefully,
Yes.
especially if you're cruising at a time when maybe weather might impact flights to your embarkation port. For example,
Right.
Christmas time, many people go on holiday cruises, and that's great. But if you are coming from a place that's maybe a smaller city and you have to connect, say, in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
where it snows a lot
Yeah,
and
that's a good
a big
point.
winter storm comes, you might have flight delays that could impact your ability to get to your cruise ship. So I'd suggest to people that they maybe arrive at their embarkation port a day early, get a local
Mm-hmm.
hotel, then you can get a taxi over to the cruise port, or maybe your hotel has a shuttle if it's a really popular cruise port.
Right.
Need to do some research on that. And that way, if something goes really wrong, you have the peace of mind of knowing that, hey, maybe you don't get to stay in that hotel for very long, but you're going to make ship's movement. And that's the really important thing. If you aren't on
Right.
board, it's going to leave and you will be very sad.
Right. Well, in fact, so in Europe, a lot of the boats leave from Rome.
Hmm.
And Rome is a great city. I mean, it's if you might as well spend an extra day, just having a look
Hmm.
around, and then just getting to the boat fresh and and
Exactly.
relaxed. And so I think
Hmm.
that's actually very good advice because if you're coming from abroad, you're almost certainly going to have a connecting flight somewhere, unless
Yes.
well, I think you well maybe. There are some directs, but like even Seattle will go
Even
to
so.
London and then
Mhm.
London to Rome, for example.
Yeah, but
So
the cruise port in Rome is not in downtown Rome. It's in Civitavecchia, so you still
yes,
have to get there. So you might as well, as you say, get to your cruise port and
yeah,
enjoy a little bit of sightseeing time. And some cruise lines will do that. It's
yeah.
set that up for you, a pre-cruise or a post-cruise option.
Hmm.
If you don't want to organize your own sightseeing and your own transportation, you don't have to. You can ask the cruise line to do that, and there's an extra charge for that, of course, because you're staying somewhere and having guides and all of those things. But that's
Right,
a really great option,
right.
and then you can see a bit more and be relaxed and rested and de-jet lagged when your cruise begins.
And grab some pizza. They
Absolutely.
make the best pizza ever
They
in
do.
Rome.
They do. Don't tell someone from Naples that.
Oh,
They will
that
argue with you.
would they? Well, I was just in Italy, and you're right. They argue about who's got the best olive oil. I mean, it's like a
Mhm.
major political
It
discussion
is. It
where the
is.
best olive oil comes from. Anyway, we both love Italy. So okay, so what else have we got? Health. Think what health things should we be thinking about?
Well,
Hands and
one of the things that you read about in the newspapers and online all the time is virus outbreak on cruise ship. Well, we all
I
learned in
know.
kindergarten to wash our hands at certain times of the day before we eat and after we do certain things,
Yeah.
and that really applies on a cruise ship. And you'll find that cruise ships are really great about reminding you to do those things, and they have hand sanitizer
Mm-hmm.
stations.
Mm-hmm.
As you're walking into the dining room, there's hand sanitizer. So
Yeah.
wash your
True.
hands often, use the hand sanitizer. If somebody is sick on board the ship, take some extra precautions. Maybe bring one of those little travel packs of wipes that you can wipe down things in your
Yeah.
stateroom if you want to do that. Just be sure that you are taking the precautions that you would in any crowded place so that you don't spread germs and that you don't have germs spread to you.
No, that's very good advice because sometimes it's out of your control. You have to
Mhm.
be in control, take
Mhm.
control. So, what other things? What about taking the trips off the boat? Would you recommend people do that or stay on the boat or
It's really up to you. Some people really enjoy not going on shore excursions because then they have the ship to themselves and there's no crowds at the pool and
the spa?
lunchtime they can eat whatever they want to. Yeah, they can get any spa appointment they
Yeah,
want. Um, I have taken a couple of cruises where we've done mostly organized shore excursions. They tend to be a little bit pricier than if you tried to do it on your own, but you have the peace of mind of two things. One, you don't have to worry about how to organize it yourself.
mm-hmm.
And two, if you do it through the ship, the cruise line will guarantee that they will wait for you if your shore excursion is late.
Oh,
Because
okay.
remember,
That's good to know.
departure time is departure time, as we said before. So you need to be back on board before they're going to leave, or you will be left behind.
Have you been left behind before, Nancy? I'm getting the feeling that
No,
maybe you had a personal experience here.
no, I have never been left behind. I like to be in control of my vacation, and we've had great experiences with cruise line sponsored shore excursions.
Okay,
River cruises
good.
are a little different because oftentimes the shore excursions are included in your fare, so you can actually wait until the last minute, literally, to decide if you're going to do them.
Yeah.
But river cruises also offer great opportunities for walking around the center of cities in different parts of the world and really getting the local feel, exploring maybe grocery stores and bakeries. Bakeries are always good.
Yeah.
Walking along the river and watching how commerce works. So on a river cruise, you really need to think through your options because you're going to be presented with many, many attractive things
Yes.
to do, and it's hard to choose.
I can tell that you like river cruises.
I love river cruises.
Yeah, I think they're really cool in lots of ways because you actually can get into the places, into the ports that are like right, usually the
Exactly.
hub of this of the town. You know, people are walking along. I mean, they're very. I'm actually looking forward. We're doing one with Viking in
You'll love
December, and I'm
you'll
really looking forward to it. So we can talk about that maybe afterwards. Have we missed anything? I think we maybe did a couple more, but oh, I know. What's the last one? Don't
um,
overindulge.
yeah, it's really important to vacation with moderation, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
The typical cruise accident happens when people have consumed too much alcohol and get themselves into trouble one way or another. Tripping and falling happens because you're on a ship. There are stairs. If you are in a hurry and you don't want to use the elevator, they do have elevators, of course. But so if you vacation in moderation and enjoy your dinners and your drinks and all of those things, but don't get yourself in a situation where your judgment is compromised or your safety is compromised, and you'll come home with tons and tons of happy memories, great photos to show your friends, and a great desire to go and do it all over again.
Okay, I am totally inspired. And those points are really helpful. They're in the article that you've written for us on this, and I highly recommend people take a look at it. And there's a couple of other articles on cruises that you've done for us as well. So you should be well prepared. Thank you so much, Nancy. Great advice as always.
Thanks for having me.